Hello and welcome back to another Demis Hellen tutorial. We're looking at PhoenixVerb today by Exponential Audio, which is now part of Izotope, and it has a really nice sound. It's on offer at the moment on Plugin Boutique for less than a tenner, so sorry if you're late to the party, that offer's probably been and gone, but it's still worth purchasing or sticking around for when another sale might come on. So you're hearing this now on a plug synth, and I'm going to solo this and then I'm going to bypass the plugin and just let you listen to the sound. And there you have it, that is the PhoenixVerb, and that's just a preset that's been quickly cooked up from the default that loads when you first launch PhoenixVerb. Alright, so we've got it on this plug synth. There's no reverb coming from the synth itself, we just have what is happening here. Okay, so looking left to right, we'll go through the GUI and just what everything does, and then we'll have a little mess around. Okay, so we have our in and out levels here, as well as our EQ. We do have some processing thresholds here, depending on laptop performance or computer performance, should we say. And on this EQ, you do have 12 and 6 dB per octave options for high passes and low passes. So you can see here, just click them and you get those settings, and obviously you can adjust to taste. Here we have our early level. Now this is like early reflections in a sense, and then our reverb level here going through the EQ, and then the out frequencies. This is all directly related to this first section, hence it's all kind of boxed off into its own area. You can store reload presets here, so this is where you'd save this kind of preset section, and then you have a compare feature, so you can compare sound depending on what you're trying to create. It's just nice to be able to compare. Down the middle here, we have our familiar options of mix, pre-delay, and reverb time. So these do exactly what they say. So if you're using it as a send effects, you can have your mix to 100%. Like I am on a track channel, you can just have it set to 50% just to kind of get a nice sound, and you can blend it how you want. Pre-delay, how early or late the reverb comes in after the sound triggers through it, and then reverb time in seconds, how long the reverb is going to be. We do have a favorite and a tooltip button here, so if you click tooltips on, you can just hover over a setting like mix, and it'll pop up there, adjust the wet and dry mix. This should be unused and the plugin is in line. If the plugin is on an auxiliary/effects track, it's best to control the track level instead. So you can see there, it just gives you what it does and how to use it essentially. So that is quite a handy thing to have on. And then you have your favorite button here where you can click and it'll set that preset as a favorite. On the right hand side, we have our keywords and preset section, so we can have this to set search results, so I'll show you in a second, but you can choose, say, medium halls, and it'll set everything up for medium halls and give you all the halls here. Same again, if you wanted percussion, it'll set all your percussion reverbs here, as you can see. A couple of pages on that one. And we can also search by all, and we can click all presets. And the search function is pretty damn good. If you wanted a dark reverb and you just wanted to kind of flick through all the dark ones, you can just type in dark here, press enter, and it searched for 130 different dark presets, and it'll load them all into the same section, so you can just click through and find the one you want, which is pretty damn good, especially if you've got a lot of presets that you've made and you just want to quickly get to it. You can just search by a keyword and you're in there. Right, so that's the search function at the top. Then we have the reverb size, and it gives you that nice little indication of how many meters that reverb is in size. And then we have our crossover frequency and low mid balance. So these kind of work together. The crossover frequency of the low and mids. Obviously, if you set this higher, so the higher in the hertz, then it's going to influence more of the mid frequencies depending on where this is set. So if you set that there, it's going to be more balanced towards the mids than the lows, and the same again for that. It's going to be balanced more to the lows, especially if you have the crossover frequency lower as well. So it just gives you some options for blending, and we can take a look at that in a future video, I suppose. Then we have the damp frequency, so how much you dampen the reverb, so how much it kind of closes off really quickly rather than it just tailing forever. You can dampen that and obviously bring it in as a tighter room, just usual stuff. The dampening factor is how fast that happens, so that just gives you an option to control the damp frequency a little bit sharper or a little bit less sharp, so you can have it a bit slower. So that just gives you a few more options there. And then on here we have narrow, normal and wide on the width. So let's just play a preset. So if we go into here and put large holes, and we'll stick to that large neutral hole. Okay, and then we'll narrow this down. You can hear it goes very mono and very stereo on the wide and balanced in the middle. So you've got these options. You've only got narrow, in between narrow and normal, normal, in between normal and wide, and wide. So you've just got those few options there, but it does help with the preset design. And onto the Reverb Attacks, we have 3 buttons at the bottom here. We've just been on Reverb Tail. Now Reverb Attack and Early is at the bottom. So on Reverb Attack, we have our reverb type again. Then we have a diffuse size and diffusion knob here. Now the diffuse size is accounting for irregularities in reflections and things like that. So if you're in a room and there's a TV at the back of the room, you're going to get an irregular reflection off that. So that just gives you that idea. So think of a church. You're in a church, you've got seating that's going to reflect, you've got candles and all sorts like in the room, so that just gives you that option to add some irregularities in there. And diffusion obviously is how that is diffused through the reverb. You can turn tooltips on to learn a little bit more about that. And then we have the attack settings, so we have, just like on an ADSR, we just have the attack time, how long that attack time is, so sustain, and then the slope of the envelope, which is kind of how the release essentially. So you can see there we can have it hit really sharp depending on what sound design you're doing, or we can have it quite slow and soft. And then that tells you how long it's going to be in milliseconds. You can see up to 250 milliseconds in time, and then the envelope slope, how is that tailing off. So all relatively simple things there, but very nice to have control over. And then finally, in the early reflections section, we have the early reflections attack time and slope again. So that is just accounting for the early reflections. If you're not going to have early reflections in your preset, then that's probably going to make no sense. Like here, early level, turn that right down, and pre-delay. I'm pretty much not going to have anything in there. That's going to require too much, but still got a bit of control over that to shape it. And finally, you do have a preference section here where you can change a few settings, and you have 2 size options there depending on your screen size as well. So that is the PhoenixVerb. Just looking at it, let's have a listen to how we can build a plugin. So if we go back to reload, set it to like its default setting, and we'll make some nice washed reverb to fit in with this track. So let's have the whole track playing, and we'll build this reverb for this plug. And there you are, you have the PhoenixVerb. We've just used the 12 dB per octave there and set it to 450, so anything below the 450 Hz mark, there is no reverb, which kind of lines up nicely with the EQ that I've used on that pluck. And it has a really nice sound. I really do like this one. So that is another reverb in the bag. If you enjoyed the video, let me know in the description down below. In the description, if you can edit my description, there is a problem. If you let me know in the comments, I answer everybody back on there, as well as leaving a like, and finally it's hitting subscribe if you haven't already. 3 videos per week on trance and various music production topics. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you grab PhoenixVerb in time. I'll see you in the next video.